These are the KZ Ling-Longs. It's a funny name. I always get a laugh out of people when I tell them which earbuds these are, the Ling-Longs. But I mean, that is tri-fi for you, so it is what it is. I've got a lot of problems with these. I have, I think, four big issues with these that I'm gonna go over. Um, First of all, let me say that these were like $10. Or no, they were less than $10. So these were really cheap earbuds. So you can't give them too much fault for that. When I first got these, I quite liked these. They came with a really cool carrying case. I love them. I actually gave it to one of my friends who didn't have a case for their IEM, so I gave it to them just because it's a nice hard case that came with it. Really cool. Um, let's get into my first and biggest issue with these. They're both style IEMs, right? So they're not your typical IEM structure, which is like this. They don't have breathing vents in them, which if you look at normal IEMs, they all have like a hole. This one, it's right here. These are the KZ Pros. But this has a hole here so that there's no buildup of pressure inside of your ear. It's not like your ear isn't sealed off basically because these don't have that vent. So when they go in your ear, the air between your eardrum and these, it's perfectly sealed. It has nowhere to go. So when you're trying to adjust these all the time, it causes a lot of discomfort. It feels like when you're underwater or you're like diving underwater and you get all this pressure inside of your ear. That's how it feels like to wear these all the time for me. I eventually did get used to it after 2 weeks, but holy moly, that was so annoying. It was just discomfort the whole way. Because you have way less air between the drivers and your eardrums and they're sealed, it does improve the performance of the bass. That's great and all, but I would rather take more comfort over more bass performance. Now, I think this issue that I'm having, not everyone will have this issue. If you're sensitive to that kind of thing, definitely watch out for that. For me, it was pretty unbearable, but I did end up getting used to it after a while, and I just kind of ignored it. It never really went away, but I just learned to live with it, so to speak. Now, if that was the only issue these IEMs had, I'd be kind of okay with that. But let's get into the next issue. These electrocute my ear holes. I'm not exaggerating. I have 2 amps and I have a few different devices. I have a couple phones and like a MacBook Pro. On my MacBook Pro, which by the way, MacBook Pros, some of them are notorious for they don't have an earth ground. So when you're touching them, when you're tapping on them, you are the earth ground. So they let off like a little bit of electric current through you when you're using it. Perfectly normal. It's a pretty well-known phenomena. When I plug these into the MacBook Pro, because these, by the way, these are beautiful IEMs. I really like the way they look. I love the way they're designed. I like this metal shell. But these metal shell is conductive. So when you have these in your ears, the actual electric current out of the aux port from the MacBook Pro shocks me. Like, oh my god, it hurts. Like like it's not like a little buzzing sensation that you normally get from your MacBook. I think because it's in your ear hole, it actually is painful. It takes about 10 to 20 seconds to build up, and then it's like something like a cockroach is biting your ear hole. It's really really annoying. The way I ended up fixing it. By the way, it doesn't just happen with my MacBook Pro. It also happens on one of my desk amps as well. But everything else, it's okay. On my phones, on my other devices, on my normal amp, it's perfectly fine. But yeah, just on certain things, I think certain like DACs that don't have a proper ground or have like a weird defect or something like that, it'll cause that issue for you. You don't know that until you get these. So there's something to be wary of. If you buy these and they do have that issue, the way I fixed it is by wrapping the whole entire metal shell in masking tape or any kind of tape or plastic even. Um, that ended up fixing or solving. It didn't really solve the electrocution issue, it just hid it, right? I took it off recently because, all the grease and dust and all that stuff on your hands and just all around you ended up building up on the masking tape, and so it just looked kind of grimy after a while. So I took it off. Now, here's a third issue. The whole reason I bought these is that they were marketed as open backs. They're not. They're completely closed. They're as closed as you can get. I thought just because of the way it's marketed that these little holes in the back were just like actual the area between the driver and your ear isn't sealed. It's actually open to the outside air, but that's not true at all. So that was a huge disappointment when I got these because I was looking for a pair of earbuds that were open ear or open back. And so when these are described as open back, they're just meaning it's open back design. There's no actual functionality for the open backs themselves. So that was sort of a waste of a purchase because that was the whole reason I bought these. It is what it is. I could kind of look past that if these were good sounding earbuds, right? This brings me to my fourth and final issue with these earbuds, and that's the sound quality. They're not that good. I mean, people talk about how good these earbuds are all the time. When I first got them, I quite liked them. At the time I only had the KZ EDC Pro, which were very bright, and very fun, very engaging listening experience. Like, I still really like the KZ EDC Pros. I'll actually do a review on these later. So when I got these are a bit more relaxed. Not because they were more neutral, but because they had like a little bit more bass and a little less of the upper trebles. Most of the upper treble is quite a bit more relaxed, but there are a few frequencies where it is a little bit emphasized, and I can sort of feel that and hear that as well. I don't have the response graph in front of me right now, so I don't really know. I'm just spitting it off the top of my head, but just like something higher up in the 9K to like 12K, there's a little, I could sense like a few little peaks. You have to be really looking out for it. As pleasant as these sound when I first got them, now that I've sort of upgraded to more premium audio equipment and IEM specifically, the treble on these, the hi-hats specifically, are really tinny, like cheap, plasticky kind of feeling. I don't know how to describe it. They kind of like fall flat. So you those hi-hat crashes that are supposed to be not sharp, but there's just a resolution or like a texture with hi-hats that I can hear nowadays with my other pair of IEMs. That these just like now that I've heard that, I can't really go back to these. So I haven't really been using these that much. These could be a lot more bright and fun and engaging and fatiguing to some people than these, while these are a lot more pleasant, more relaxed, but also a little more, I wouldn't say muddy, but let me give you an example. Baby Keem's Good Flirts, or a few of Baby Keem's songs on his new album, I was just listening to that just now with these. The hi-hats just sound bad. They sound like plasticky, not even tinny, like plasticky. Like they're kind of flat, they don't sound very good. They're kind of, I don't know how to describe it more than like underwhelming. They don't sound right. It's like it sounds like they don't fit right. I think that's the best way I could describe it. It sounds like when you listen to Baby Keem through these, it sounds like these don't have like a good seal on you. Even though they do, it just sounds like you're missing like a part of the experience. You're missing a part of the music. So I really can't recommend these to people. And I know there's a lot of fanfare online about these. There's a lot of people who swear by these, and it's such a shame too because they're really nice looking earbuds and they come with a great carrying case. The cable does kind of suck. Oh, and here's a bonus negative I have. So I guess this makes it 5 things I don't like about these IEMs. The last thing is that this isn't detachable, right? It's just like hard fixed. I wish they had like an MMCX or a 2-pin or something, because then I could even, I could try a different cable and see if that fixes the issue number 2 I have, or a cable with DSP, or even make them wireless. I don't know. They're just not that great. The build quality feels fine. The cable's cheap, plastic. They feel better than the EDC cables, I will say that. If you were looking for a pair of open back earbuds, don't get these. These aren't open back. If you're looking for a pair of bullet style earbuds, there's way better options out there. I mean, even in this price range, I'm sure there's better options in terms of bullet style, but if you want to spend a bit more, look for a pair of something from Tin Hi-Fi. I hear they've made some good ones, some good bullet style earbuds recently, but I haven't tried them, so I don't know. But yeah, this is sort of like a buyer beware kind of video. I'm sort of like standing against the consensus of everyone praising these, just because I don't have a good experience. And maybe, perhaps it's a issue of QC, right? Perhaps these just suck and most other Ling-Long sound different. Perfectly possible. There's manufacturing tolerances, there's all these issues that could arise in the manufacturing process. that might make these defective. Like, for all I know, these are defective. But I've done a bit of research online, and the people who don't like these usually sort of parrot the same thing I'm trying to say here. I hope this has helped someone's decision making process when it comes to looking at these KZ Ling-Long earbuds. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them below in the comment section. I'll try to get back to you, and I'll try to answer them as quickly as I can. But that's about it. That's pretty much all I had to say about these. That's all I had written down, at least. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good rest of your day.